Oh, Karen is here. Do we have the? No. Okay. Is Jason ready for me? Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Independence City Council for Monday, March 5th, 2018. Our invocation this evening will be offered by Dennis Cato, Stake President of the LDS Church. Is Dennis here? I do not see him. Okay. Councilman Robertson, can I ask you to do the invocation, please? They love when I make them ad lib. If you would please stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, he's on Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilmembers Whiting?
Here.
Perkins?
Here.
Doherty?
Here.
DeLucy?
Present by Skype.
Robertson?
Here.
Van Camp?
Here.
Mayor Ware?
Here. We have something a little unusual. We don't typically do presentations at council meetings. We usually reserve those for study sessions. But several weeks ago, we had some presentations regarding some of the services that are being provided and some of the measures that are being taken at Hawthorne Place Apartments. And we, at that time, said that there would be additional updates coming forward as well. So I know this is a topic that is of great interest to the community, so we thought that we would have that this evening. So Mr. City Manager would like to introduce this presentation.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, members of the council, as the mayor said, we continue to work with our community partners at Hawthorne and our own Independence Police Department to try to make sure we're addressing all aspects of quality of life in that neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhood. So tonight, I thought it'd be appropriate to ask Major Ed Turner of the Independence Police Department to provide the council with a brief update on some timely activities happening in the neighborhood. So I will bring forward Major Turner.
Madam Mayor, City Council, I appreciate you allowing me some time to explain and maybe expound on some of the things that are transpiring in Hawthorne Apartments and how the city and particularly the police department are interfacing with the citizens there and the management. I've kind of broke this down, if I could, to two different sections. Everything we do is community related, but for the sake of this presentation, short presentation, the first portion will be law enforcement efforts directly to enforcing the laws and our efforts, and then secondly, the community interaction as we've interacted with the community, not only there, but in the surrounding area. Some may or may not know, we do have two off-duty officers at work there, in addition to the two officers that are assigned there permanently. So we have two officers assigned there 40 hours a week, and then we have additional 40 hours in overtime officers that's paid for by Hawthorne Place Apartments, and that's coordinated and arranged by the city and the use of our vehicle that they pay for. We've increased some of the direct patrols in the area through specialized units who monitor that. Working with Judge Helm and the city prosecutor's office, We've identified that we know that majority of the problems are not the residents, it's people that come to visit, and those people are banned from the property. At which point they have a tendency sometimes to continue to come back. Judge Helm has set a series of fees or bonds that doubles every time. So the first offense is 500 up to 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000. It keeps doubling every time they come back. And so far it's been productive to keep them, the people that are causing trouble away. We working with online city complaints through CityNet to monitor some of these. The city has implemented through some traffic concerns a four-way stop sign on the southern part of the complex. We've also been working with the city engineers and in addition to city manager in regards to controlling some of the traffic pattern there. There are some works now to block off the southern and central entryway, which is on Kendall and Downey. We have a new vehicle that's being assigned there that will allow us to implement new technologies in the future. Partnering with Hawthorne Place Apartments, we're looking at strategic locations to implement cameras on the property, and that's in works now with infrastructure going in currently, with the cameras going in the near future, hopefully by summer. We've assigned motorcycles to the area, particularly to the bus stops and complaints of speeders. We work, because our officers work at night primarily, they identify poor lighting areas or trees or bushes that are that minimize the viewing of certain areas, and we can help with management to direct them and maintenance to trim those back. We do background checks on everyone that comes in there, and then other issues that arise. In addition, we do standbys with management during evictions or other concerns. That's more on the enforcement side, and then again, like I said, all our work kind of intertwines. Everything we do is for the betterment of is intended for the betterment of the community. But here, particularly, we have a stakeholders meeting. We meet with the stakeholders from the Independent School District, Fort Osage Community Service League, in addition to the Community of Christ and other churches in that area that have an integral part of that community there, and they have hands involved in that community. They also have community meetings set. Hawthorne Apartments is broken up into 8 different neighborhoods, and we're meeting with them individually through those neighborhoods, and we get to hear firsthand their concerns and their complaints. With those about 10 to 12 meetings that'll happen, we are also offering a Spanish-only meeting towards the latter part. Right now, the kids are helping us translate some of that with their parents. We are working at the social media and having avenues to allow the community to connect through social media outlets so that we can have a clear lines of communication. Also, the Boys and Girls Club is a great integral part, if you will, of that whole community. Since over half of the population, well over half the population, are minors or juveniles. And so we're down there, we're visiting with them, the officers that are assigned there, in addition to block parties and other events that come up as seasonal events that come up, back to school programs and Halloween and other events. We're in the process, we got some things that are pending. We're looking at a women's self-defense class possibly, because that keeps coming up, and just an awareness class, quite honestly. The Action Center will soon have another tab that helps to monitor our activities, complaints, concerns, and in addition to some door hangers in the future that'll be placed for not only in Hawthorne, but in addition to the adjacent neighborhoods. So that's kind of a rundown, a real quick rundown, if you will, to some of the things that are transpiring there with the law enforcement and the community as a whole. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer those or get the answers and bring them back to you.
Okay, thank you, Major Turner. Are there comments or questions from the council?
Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Robinson.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much for the presentation. It sounds like things are moving ahead very well with Hawthorne. There were a few things that I had written down from last time, from the presentation, and they may be part of your plan. I just wanted to mention a couple of those. I know that you're talking about limiting the number of entrances and exits, and I think there's 6. Is there 6 now, 6 or 7?
Correct.
And so hopefully you can get it down to 3 or 4. Probably 3 would be the best. And my thought was that when you close off those streets, we don't want to put up gates or anything that looks like, you know, very restrictive. But I thought something like a pocket park or a pocket playground at the end of those streets. In other words, it's mounded up dirt with playground equipment or some green space or trees or something that makes it look inviting for the kids, because there are so many children in that neighborhood, and yet it will, at least for the time being, close off the street with something that's very useful for the neighborhood as well. The other thing that I had suggested was something that's very simple, car stickers. A lot of neighborhood associations and HOAs use car stickers to identify cars that are local to the area, but then it's easy to identify cars that are coming into the area that are not supposed to be there, and easily identified not by just by you guys, but also by the neighborhood. They know if the car doesn't have a sticker on it, it doesn't really belong there, and it's somebody visiting. So that might be something that might be very easy to do, and you could put those out once a year, or once every other year, and then there's a different color or a different sticker, or you could even number them and know whose car has the sticker on it. The other thing that I thought might help, and this is something that you guys do all the time, and that's Crime Watch. If you started a Crime Watch with the Boys and Girls Club and got the kids involved, there's a lot of eyes and ears that will know what's going on. And they will then become educated about crime and what to watch for too. So a crime watch in the neighborhood, and also maybe a Boy Scout unit in the neighborhood, because a lot of times it's the boys. I shouldn't say this, but a lot of times it's the boys more than the girls that cause some of the problems as they get into adolescence and high school. So the Scouts definitely would create some shared values in the neighborhood, and maybe even get some of the parents involved. So those were some of my suggestions. I just wanted to add those or throw those in, and maybe you're considering those. Thank you.
Anything else? Yes, Councilman Vinccio.
I was impressed with the original. You know, I mean, you're not resting on your laurels or dragging your feet. But we had a presentation on the camera sign up that people that might work in there too.
Yep.
And as we have talked privately, that gym is the center of where it's.
Okay, thank you, Major Turner. I'm really happy about, we have seen how much the video surveillance cameras really are such a tool for the community and for certainly the police department when things do go wrong, that we're able to utilize that to help to rectify those problems. So I'm particularly pleased about that, and I think a number of things that are being discussed to continue to sort of manage that environment and manage the physical layout, because it is a big neighborhood on both sides of a busy highway. So I'm very pleased that we're moving in the right direction and continue to work together to you know, come up with additional ideas as we move forward for the safety of those folks who are living there. So thank you very much.
We appreciate your time and concern, and thank you for allowing me to present today.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, our presentation resolution is, we actually have two. It's a resolution recognizing Lonnie Pfeiffer, police officer, and Jim Harriman, police officer in the police department, as the employees of the month for March 2018. Madam City Clerk.
Whereas the City Employee Recognition Program recognizes outstanding performance by employees of the City of Independence, and whereas an employee committee selects the Employee of the Month for exhibiting the qualities and ideals that best represent public service, and whereas the Employee Recognition Committee has selected Lonnie Pfeiffer, police officer, as the Employee of the Month for March 2018, and now therefore be resolved by the Council of the City of Independence, Missouri, that the City Council of the City of Independence, Missouri joins in recognizing Lonnie Pfeiffer as the City of Independence Employee of the Month for March 2018.
Okay, this is a little odd because we don't usually have two. So I'm going to ask for a motion for the approval of Resolution 18718.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Doherty.
Yes.
DeLucy,
yes,
Robertson.
Yes.
Van Camp,
Yes.
Mayor Weir.
Yes. Okay. 18719.
Whereas the
Sound
city,
familiar?
whereas the City Employee Recognition Program recognizes outstanding performance by the employees of the City of Independence, and whereas the Employee Committee selects the Employee of the Month for exhibiting the qualities and ideals that best represent public service, and whereas the Employee Recognition Committee has selected Jamie Harriman, police officer in the Police Department, as Employee of the Month for March 2018. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Independence, Missouri, that the City Council of Independence, Missouri joins in recognizing Jamie Harriman as City of Independence employee for the month of March 2018.
Okay, I entertain a motion for approval of the resolution.
So moved.
And second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting,
Yes.
Perkins.
Yes.
Doherty.
Yes.
DeLucy,
yes,
Robertson.
Yes.
Van Camp,
Yes.
Mayor Weir.
Yes. Jamie Harriman and Lonnie Pfeiffer have both worked for the City of Independence for 6 years as police officers. Jamie loves the diversity of work he gets as a police officer, and Lonnie enjoys interacting with coworkers and building relationships with the community. Jamie enjoys that although there are many different jobs in the department, they all have the same common goal. When asked about special approach to their work, Jamie says his has always been about learning from the people he considers great police officers. And Lonnie says each day is different and brings another approach. Jamie says Independence is a good place to live and work because it offers something for everyone, as all walks of life can find something here that will interest them on some level. And Lonnie says the community makes Independence a good place to work. Outside of work, Jamie loves to play hockey and fly fish, and Lonnie likes to coach football. Parks, recreation, and tourism started an adaptive hockey program 2 years ago, and these two individuals offered to volunteer their time. Since then, they have traveled to St. Louis to learn more, worked with individuals with special needs in the schools, and taught floor hockey to kids with a smile on both of their faces. We don't usually have 2 elected employees of the month, but it was requested as an exception be made this time, as the efforts from these 2 are said to be amazing, and the program would not be as successful without their support and expertise. Congratulations, Jamie and Lonnie, and thank you for your continued service to our community and your added compassion for this program, prompting your nominations. Keep up the great work that you do for all of us. It is much appreciated. Please join me in congratulating Jamie Harriman and Lonnie Pfeiffer as the March 2018 Employees of the Month. Congratulations. Congratulations. Make sure he gave you the right one, and turn around and Nick will take your picture. Thank you so much. Okay, next we have a proclamation for Procurement Month.
Whereas the procurement profession plays a significant role in the efficiency of both government and business, and whereas in addition to the purchase of goods and services, procurement adds value to the organization by performing such functions as executing, implementing, and administering contracts, developing strategic procurement strategies, and cultivating working relationships with suppliers and customers within the organization. And whereas public procurement professionals in the City of Independence and in other public and private organizations have tremendous influence on the economic conditions in the United States, with a cumulative purchasing power running into the billions of dollars. And whereas the procurement division of the City of Independence is committed to providing high caliber, strategic, logistical, and operational support to all departments within the City of Independence. And whereas the Procurement Division in the City of Independence recognizes, supports, and practices the public procurement values and guiding principles of accountability, ethics, impartiality, professionalism, service, and transparency established by the NIGP, the Institute for Public Procurement, as fundamental tenets of the public procurement profession. And whereas NIGP has proclaimed the month of March as Procurement Month to further expand the awareness of the role of the procurement professionals to government officials, the general public, business, and corporate leaders. Now therefore, Eileen N. Weir, Mayor of the City of Independence, Missouri, does hereby proclaim the month of March 2018 as Procurement Month in Independence, Missouri, and it urges all citizens to join the City of Independence in recognizing the role of purchasing and materials management profession within business, industry, and government.
Okay, thank you very much. And Ms. Penke, are you going to come forward and accept the proclamation? Everybody knows procurement's my favorite department. It's not its own department, but I do love it. Thanks so much. And I never miss an opportunity because it certainly is one of those functions of the city that we all take for granted mostly, but it's very important. And we have such an opportunity to do some really strategic and innovative things for procurement. And Russ, you've just been great to work with on helping us to update our procurement policies and really bring a lot of expertise and innovation to the way we do things. So congratulations, thank you very much. Next we have a proclamation on Purple Heart City Recognition Day.
Whereas the City of Independence, Missouri, and our community have a great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all the men and women who have selflessly served their country in the armed forces, and whereas veterans have paid the high price for freedom by leaving their families and communities and have placed themselves in harm's way for the betterment of our nation, and whereas the contributions and sacrifices of the men and women who served in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedoms and way of life enjoyed by our citizens, and whereas many men and women in uniform have given their lives while serving in the armed forces, and whereas we honor those who have received the Purple Heart Medal as a result of being wounded while engaged in combat with an enemy force, construed as a singularly meritorious act of essential service, and we seek to remember and recognize those who are recipients of the Purple Heart Medal. Now therefore, Eileen N. Weir, Mayor of the City of Independence, Missouri, does hereby proclaim March 5th, 2018 as Purple Heart City Recognition Day in Independence and encourages all citizens to recognize the valor and sacrifice of our veterans.
Okay, thank you very much. We have a couple gentlemen here this evening. Come and receive this proclamation. Okay. Well, show them this way so the camera can see them. This way. Yeah. Thank you, Ted, very much. Mr. City Manager, we have a map that was provided to the council at our places indicating the locations of these signs. So I don't know, Ted, if you want to say, I give you a minute to kind of talk about this program, and then maybe you could just talk a little bit about, okay, if you just want to come to the podium.
First of all, thank you very kindly for having us. My name is Ted Knox, and Walt Sly is our Senior Vice Commander. We meet in the World War I Museum, and we're very honored to do that. The Purple Heart, Military Order of the Purple Heart, is the body of military veterans, all wounded in action. And when you get with the guys, you really see how bad some of them have been wounded, including Walter and myself. We look great, but you can't see the scars. But it's a great honor to be here and to be accepted by the city. And I thank you very kindly and your family for supporting us in this. So, and thank all the council people. We do have pins for you. We want to give to each one of the councilmen and the mayor, of course. And we got an extra one for the gentleman or lady that's not here.
We'll make sure she gets it.
Okay.
So,
And thank you again very much.
thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you very much. Mr. City Manager, would you like to take a moment to discuss the, how we're going to be displaying this in our city?
Yes, Madam Mayor, members of the council, at your place, and we'll get this posted so the public can see these as well, but throughout the city, the signs that are down here in front of the council tonight, hopefully the public had a chance to see those, but those will be placed in city right-of-way throughout the city, designating Independence as a Purple Heart city and making sure that we provide appropriate notification. Thank you very much. Those will be placed throughout the city at these locations in the very near future.
Very good, thank you very much. We appreciate the staff's help, the Public Works Department, and helping to identify these locations, and we're very, very proud to be counted as one of the cities who's included in this very, very exciting and noble project. So thank you for giving us the opportunity. Okay, now we will move on to, get back on the right page, the consent agenda.
Mayor Ware?
Councilmember Whiting.
Yes, I'll move approval of the consent agenda.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any items any council member would like pulled for separate consideration? Okay, hearing none, would you please call the roll on the consent agenda?
Councilmembers Whiting,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
DeLucy,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Van Camp,
Yes.
Mayor Ware.
Yes. Okay, our first public hearing this evening is an application received from Three Trails Brewing Company, LLC, Three Trails Brewing, LLC, for a microbrewery intoxicating liquor by the drink and Sunday sales license for Three Trails Brewing Company, located at 111 North Main Street. This is a full public hearing. Mr. DeSalle.
Mayor and members of council, I'm Charlie DeSalle, Assistant Community Development Director. As you mentioned, this liquor license application is for a microbrewery, a buy drink, and a Sunday sales license. It's for Three Trails Brewing Company at 111 North Main Street. The building is also known as the Emporium, to give you a frame of reference there. The existing building does include a basement, a first and a second floor. It will also include a patio that'll be approximately 250 square feet.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anybody here wishing to speak in support of this application? Please come forward. May you come forward if you please just state your name for the record?
Sure. My name is Kyle Winan. I am the president of Three Trails Brewing Company. We have a couple documents here that one is how craft breweries are helping to revive local economies and how craft beer's big impact on small towns and forgotten neighborhoods. I want to thank you, Mayor, and the council for your time today.
Okay.
Three Trails Brewing is a brewery that we're going to focus on the history of the independence and around Harry S. Truman. That is our main focus, and that's kind of what our platform has been. We found this great location on the square that we think that'll help us in that and bring more entertainment to this area of the square and bring a lot of excitement to Independence. We think this is going to increase foot traffic into the square and will also stimulate the growth of this area. We envision this place to be a community gathering center, and all three of us have invested about $1 million on this project so far.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else wishing to speak in support of this application? Okay, thank you. Is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Are there any comments or questions from the council? Okay, Madam City Clerk, will you please read the...
Council action is requested on the application received from Three Trails Brewing LLC for a microbrewery intoxicating liquor by the drink and Sunday sales licenses for Three Trails Brewing Company located at 111 North Main Street.
Okay, is there any discussion on this bill?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Perkins.
thank you. I'd like to say thanks to the investors and for coming up to the square and putting your dream and your vision. Last Monday, we had Top Hat Winery doing some investment in Inglewood. It's great to see local individuals, local people keeping their money, keeping their talents, and keeping their energy and vision and independence. And thank you for investing on the square. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting,
Yes.
Perkins,
Yes.
Doherty,
Yes.
DeLucy,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Van Camp,
Yes.
Mayor Ware.
Yes. Congratulations. We certainly are very focused on revitalization and reinvestment in our downtown area. So very excited to see what you are able to create there. So thanks for being here this evening. Okay, next public hearing is an application received from Truman Mart LLC for an intoxicating liquor in original package and Sunday sales license for Truman Mart 1, located at 11805 East 23rd Street South. This is a full public hearing. Mr. DeSalle.
Yeah, this application is for, as you mentioned, a package liquor license with Sunday sales located on 23rd Street. There is an existing approximate 3,000 square foot building that is on site currently. It will be demoed to make room for a new approximately 4,000 square foot building on the site. The city has issued a demo permit for the demolition of the existing building, and the building permit for the new building is still in review.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anybody here wishing to speak in support of this application? Hello.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. I'm Dick Bryan. I represent the applicant, and I hope many of you have seen the fact sheet that we've been working with both Councilman Van Camp and Councilman Doherty, as well as members of the Planning Commission over time. And I would point out to you that the store that operates at this location, or has been operating at the store at this location, has nothing to do with the applicant. So they're going to be excited about leveling it off and scraping the earth just as much as I think everyone else is. This is an application that's running on parallel tracks. The planner has been working with the city on plans for demolition and for also the erection of a new building. And I know you've seen probably small drawings, but hopefully this larger drawing will give you a better idea of what the city will be looking at as the plan moves forward. This is the store that's there now is actually a smaller store. It sits closer to the roadway than this store. There's actually been the acquisition of additional property in the area so that the store could be set back, providing for pumps to be laid out and easy access for people to come and go. There are a total of 19 parking spaces on this location at the request of the city, including handicap spots, as well as adequate turnaround spaces within the area. I don't know, can you all see that okay? Or
Thank you.
The site plan for the store includes, of course, all the necessary information concerning the layout of the store and where it will sit. The canopy area for the pumps, the way the store will sit on the site, the landscaping that will take place in the area, and of course the egress and entry into the area. Landscaping is being done in coordination with the city planning office so that we can make sure that this is aesthetically nice. You know, it's interesting. I was coming back from Louisville yesterday, and I was trying to read the newspaper on my notepad, which seems to be the new way we do it now instead of opening up papers. But one of the things that I saw yesterday on the paper was that, the very front page that talked about how there's some ugly stores in the city. And this is a store that's going to replace an ugly store in the city of Independence. In fact, it's one of two stores that will be coming. One of the benefits that you've got with our operator is that he operates 3 other stores throughout the community. This will be store number 4 coming to Independence, and soon we'll have a store going into Councilman Perkins' district as well, which we'll be coming back to visit with you about. But this is a store that's going to have a Conoco and a Phillips brand. And Conoco and Phillips both have their monthly performance audits done by their own personnel as well as by Carter Energy. And so if you have a store that creates the problems. Not only do they have problems with their supplier, but they will have people actually come in and take over the store so that that those problems are alleviated. And I think that'll be a nice change for you based on the past history of the past operator. So that'll be a nice change. We're trying to bring you store operators who will benefit the city and bring additional tax dollars in, both through revenue and of course through tax dollars. The store will be laid out over a 4,000 square foot area. I'm sorry about the feedback. And it will show the interior area where all the retail merchandise will be sold. If I remember correctly, you're going to have actually some prepared food on premises as well. Is that right? There will be prepared food on the premises as well for this store. And we think it will be an increasingly popular location for people to make the stop. It's obviously not a quick trip store. Those are tough to compete with, but it will be a great store to be in the area on 23rd Street. As you can see, there's a lot of area that's going to be devoted for retail space. Finally, and I know it's hard to see on this location, or on this map, it's hard to see on the 8.5 by 11s that were submitted as well, but there will be a set of 6 pumps. Those will be dual-sided pumps for gasoline to allow for vehicles to fill. And again, as you can see from the layout of the store and the layout of the lot, there's plenty of locations here that take place. There's 51 feet from the building to the original pumps, and then going out for the other pumps, there are 30 feet that allows for the turnaround at that location, based on the placement of the building on the layout. That's a lot of information about the store, but of course, as you know, to be competitive, the stores have to be able to offer a whole line of merchandise. And people do come in and they request liquor, packaged liquor, and that's what the application is. And of course, we recognize that any approval that you might give today would be, of course, contingent on our ability to build pursuant to the plans that we've been working with the city on. So we appreciate the opportunity to make a dual track application, and I'm told by the design engineers and by those from Carter that we can have the store probably operational late this year. So I guess that's the Christmas gift coming.
Very
So.
good, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, we appreciate you coming and giving that information. Is there anybody else present who wishes to speak in support of this application? Anyone present wishing to speak in opposition? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Other comments or questions from the council? I just have one, Mr. Bryant, you touched on it, but I'm going to ask Charlie DeSalle to come forward. Can you just kind of lay out for us where we are in the planning process for this store location?
And you're talking regarding the building permit?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is, I don't recall, it's wonderful to see, again, investment being made in our city, but I don't recall ever approving one of these when the building isn't built yet. So
yeah, and I know it's happened on a few building permits. When we get to inspections on this, a lot of times they will be kind of conditionally improved on the inspection process, noting that as long as the inspections are approved on the building permit, they would be approved on this as well too. So, and as far as the process, I think there's a few departments that are still outstanding on the review process still, but for the most part.
Okay, but it's moving
Yes.
forward.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, any other comments or questions from the council? Yes, Councilman Van Camp.
Thank you for being there. Thank you for coming, and thank you for taking the time to do it right. When I made my inquiries as to the cart before the horse, that I've been told that this is not unusual at all, that this is because it's a big thing and you want it there. And it doesn't have anything to do with you coming through or anything like that, but if you don't, it wouldn't. So it's a moot point, really.
And Councilman, as you know, this is an expensive investment for the operator. This is somewhere between $1.5 and $1.8 million that's being invested in this. And so they want to know what their business model is going to look like, and they'd like to have you be excited as they are as well.
I had a tank that I took me, 8 months to get removed. You know, this is wonderful. Now it's all going to be removed.
Absolutely. think one of the things that actually in our early discussions is, why does your client have that ugly tank or sitting out of the ground? And our immediate response was, we don't like it either, but it's not our tank, but we'll get rid of it as soon as we get access to it.
Yes, we appreciate it. Okay, Madam City Clerk, will you please read the, what is this?
An item.
Item, yes.
Council action is requested on the application received from Truman Mart LLC for intoxicating liquor in the original package and Sunday sales for Truman Mart 1 located at 11805 East 23rd Street South. This application requires a 2/3 majority vote for approval due to the residential property being located within 300 feet of the establishment.
Okay, is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, it passes, and congratulations, thank you again. This is an area of town that is really in need of some redevelopment, so we're looking forward to seeing this come forward.
Thank you, Mayor. And we are looking at an additional site. We've been working with Councilman Perkins and again, Councilman Doherty on that as well, and visiting with Councilman Van Camp, because the next store will be a little bit smaller, but we're excited to bring you another store at 40 Highway and River. And so we hope to see you within the next 3 to 4 months with that project as well.
Very good, we look forward to it.
Thank you all.
We have a lot of trouble here with last word. Don't be doing it.
Okay, this takes us to our second reading, Madam City Clerk.
Bill number 18-016, an ordinance finding, determining, and declaring the necessity of acquiring public rights of way and temporary construction and grading easements for the Norland and Fair Intersection Improvements Project, number 701-11305, authorizing the negotiation and eminent domain proceedings if necessary, approving the plans and specifications for the project, authorizing the use of experts as needed, authorizing and directing the execution of documents and the payment of funds to property owners or others holding property rights in conjunction with the project. Second and final reading.
Is there any discussion on this bill? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, ordinance passes.
Bill number 18-017, an ordinance to approve amendments to the electric service rules and regulations. Second and final reading.
Is there any discussion on this bill? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Councilmembers Whiting?
Yes.
Perkins?
Yes.
Doherty?
Yes.
DeLucy?
Yes.
Robertson?
Yes.
Van Camp?
Yes.
Mayor Ware?
Yes, ordinance passes. This takes us to our first readings. Madam City Clerk.
These next bills receive their first reading tonight and their second reading in consideration by the council at the next scheduled meeting on March 19th. Bill number 18-018, an ordinance amending the zoning district map as to a tract of ground located at 1226 North Kiger Road from District R6 Single Family Residential to District C2 General Commercial in Independence, Jackson County, Missouri. Bill number 18-019, an ordinance amending Chapter 1, Article 28 of the Independence City Code, updating references and terminology pertaining to the Independence Commission on Human Relations. Bill number 18-020, an ordinance authorizing final disposition of certain city records that have met all requirements to be eligible for such disposition.
Okay, thank you very much. We have one citizen request this evening. Lucy Young requests to speak to the council regarding city finances. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
And I don't want anybody to think you're my enemy. I'm just upset. I apologize to the citizens of Independence for abruptly stepping down from my council seat. My mother was diagnosed with advanced Alzheimer's and dementia, and I cared for her until her death. I myself have developed a chronic health disease, and I'd much rather be home than here. It would be so much easier, but I am an all-weather soldier, first coined by U.S. vets. These are times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from their service of country. Thomas Paine, AKA Common Sense, wrote these words, "Summer Soldier and the Sunshine Patriot" in 1776, to inspire revolutionary troops to stand fast, to think of America first, not to shrug off their duties due to weather or by the lack of pay. The City Council is filled with both sincerity and hypocrisy. On one hand, you tell us that the general fund budget needs a new tax because the big budget squeeze caused by online sales. On the other hand, the council voted to approve a raise for yourselves, nearly doubling your pay. I ask you today to make a motion to rescind this ordinance. Mrs. Weir stated that she never intended to be a one-term mayor, but the majority of the council still voted to double your salaries. The pay was low as to not create career politicians, as you have no term limits. Do you realize how many citizens out there would like to have a double in their pay that are making minimum wage today? City Manager Zach Walker said a dozen cities were surveyed to achieve some balance in independence. I called the city of Overland Park this morning, and the mayor of Overland Park is paid $32,000 a year. He has to pay 100% of his own health benefits with no retirement plan, unlike the city of Independence has already generously offered each one of you. Must I remind you that your powers are limited by the charter? You actually control only 4 people. 1, the city manager, who is in control of the entire city. That means all employees, the entire budget. He is compensated at least $150,000 plus other benefits. Number 2, the city clerk, seldom a vacant position. Number 3, the city auditor, Zach Walker's old job. And 4, either the mayor or the council's secretary. 4 people by charter rules. What justifies such an incredible pay increase for yourselves? Have the non-union management employees gotten a significant raises in years? Overland Park has an increasing population, nearly doubling since 1990, 189,000 to date. Independence population has remained the same flat 117 since 1990. The Bass Pro TIF has devoured the budget over $1 million a year since its inception in 2004. The first payment was $3.5 million, not paid by the developer. This city has been covering those bonds every year. Nolan Road TIF has been a vast wasteland since the city took position since eminent domain, bulldozing existing businesses into a parking lot. Instead, you turn to us for another tax to fill your city coffers. The internet sales tax language is ambiguous with nothing to designate where the money will actually go except for into the general fund. Business owners in the Chamber of Commerce told us that this is affecting their businesses. Other than one insurance business, I can think of no other. Almost all of the square are niche businesses or restaurants. The print shop is more expensive than Kiko's. Meanwhile, the mayor stated that the mall is not failing at all. You publicly stated that 50% of the tax is going to police and fire departments, but what are the assurances for the citizens? There is nothing that defines it in the written text. How do we know that this is not another bait and switch? The figures used were for medium income of $43,000, but the actual per capita income is $23,000 because people's children have to depend on their parents' income. Obviously, parents, I regress. Obviously, a lot of these kids do not have private schools, and they're lucky to go to public schools, which are wonderful here. Stating that this is a broader effort to beautify the area, a group led by the Chamber asked the city to move quickly for a new city market like the River Market. This was done so quickly that, according to Assistant City Manager Laura Palmer, the city did not require a traffic study as it is a public improvement project. Their representative, Mike Sanders, then put the cost at $1 million. The mayor and the council recently voted to provide $3 million, including $600,000 of community development block grants, which legally should be allocated for low-income housing. The city is also using creative financing through an inter-fund loan from the Water Fund to the Parks and Rec Sales Tax Fund instead of a bond, and has identified a minimum of $815,000 in grants or private funds to support this project. Where is the public to park? All the vendors are going to be in that space. And I remember when I served that Ron Stewart's big deal was to get a meter made up here because everybody was filling up the parking that was available then, and there were nearly not as many businesses on the street at that time. Maybe the council should consider that before giving away the original farmer's market lot that is now a Harry Potter village. I say a viable alternative is to use the wasteland on Nolan Road of a Potter's village straight out of A Christmas Carol to beautify that area and attract private developers there instead. After all, it's already a parking lot. And in the 4th District, that has sat dormant since before your time, Councilmember Van Camp. So I would appreciate your consideration of a motion. I think it would be most magnanimous of the council to turn down their doubling of pay today. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this takes us to council member comments. Councilmember DeLucy, I'm going to begin with you, if you can hear me.
You keep jumping in and out. The connection is not too terrific.
Okay.
I'm going to pass on this. I don't know how you can hear me.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember Doherty.
Thank you. Well, it's nice to see 2 new businesses investing in Independence and cleaning up an old eyesore on 23rd. I go by there every day, so it'd be nice to see that gone, and a new business up on the square. So that's good news for us all.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Perkins.
I would echo what Councilman Doherty was saying about the 2 new businesses. Some great development stuff happening in Inglewood. I was talking to a good friend of mine from church who also works with Collins Roofing, and he was talking about the amount of money they're doing and putting in over there off of 24 highway, cleaning up some of the blight, doing stuff on their own and taking the initiative. So I'd like to see how we're moving.
Very good. Councilmember Whiting.
Nothing tonight.
Councilmember Van Camp.
I'd like to thank the Purple Heart and thank you for your service. Appreciate it.
Councilmember Robertson.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, thank you to the Purple Hearts, and look forward to seeing those signs around Independence. Just wanted to remind those that might be listening that I am holding a HOA Summit, a Homeowners Association Summit. It's the first we've ever attempted for the City of Independence. It's going to be March 15th. It'll be at the Utility Building at 6:30. So we're inviting the officers of the HOAs in Independence. We've identified 35 that have been sent letters inviting them. If you're not one of those and have not received a letter, then please contact me. We'd like to have you there. Thanks.
Thank you very much. That is exciting, and I hope that there will be lots of people there. That's a great opportunity to talk about some things. I've had the opportunity over the last several weeks with the assistance of John Mayfield to go out and do a number of listening sessions with different groups around town. I have 2 tomorrow, and it's a great opportunity to get out and hear what is important to our community. So we always welcome those opportunities. It's not very formal. If you have a group who would like to invite any of us to come and speak and share ideas and tell us what's on your mind, please don't hesitate to reach out and schedule those. We're happy to do those as time allows. It is very exciting to see the investment, the private investment that is happening in Independence, particularly in Western Independence, which is really the area that we identify as our redevelopment area. We've had some tremendous successes, including the 1010 Hayward property demolition that's taking place. We had a wonderful update at our recent Downtown Redevelopment Committee meeting from our Parks and Tourism Director, Eric Erfer, about the plans for the Truman Depot, which is a city-owned property. As you all know, we recently acquired the National Frontiers Trails Museum from the state of Missouri and have made a initial significant investment in installing an elevator, which is going to open up a lot of possibilities. So we're seeing a lot of positive activity in that particular kind of area of Independence. We continue to struggle with the Alice Chalmers property, which is nearby to all of these wonderful things that are happening in our city. And you know, have had many conversations over the years regarding Alice Chalmers. But you know, it continues to be, although an active business and well run, I would absolutely be remiss in not saying that. The condition of the building certainly is one of concern to our citizens and does not fit well with the vision that we are all working towards for Independence. I would like, with the consent of the council, to ask to direct the city manager to engage in a blight study of Alice Chalmers. I think there's quite a bit of speculation of what the condition of the building might be, given its original use of a combine manufacturing plant and then its subsequent uses over the years. There's been much speculation about the condition of the building and possible contamination and environmental issues with the building, which makes it difficult for us to create a vision for repurposing or redeveloping that property. So if there is no objection from the council, I would like to direct the city manager to take the first initial steps in conducting a blight study for the Alice Chalmers Industrial Park.
Do we need that in the form of a motion, Mayor?
Madam City Clerk? I think if we're just providing direction, we probably don't need a motion, unless you would like one.
No, I think as long as there's no objection, we can take consensus on that.
I highly agree with the mayor's statements and stuff. I know Legendary Stone recently moved out of there. Fortunately, they stayed in Independence, and I would definitely like to see what a blight study would produce.
Okay, very good. Okay, Mr.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Excuse, I'm sorry. My sole question is, where's the funding going to come from? Because I understand council goal funds is exhausted this year.
Well, we're not talking about doing a full-on environmental study at this point, which is very costly. Mr. City Manager, I don't know of an initial determination of blight, what you might anticipate that cost being tonight, or if that's something that you could provide us with information on.
Yeah, I would hedge on quoting you on an exact dollar amount tonight, but I can get some information for the council and provide update to you all on that before proceeding, and just make sure everyone's comfortable with that as well.
Yeah,
and also identify funding source, Councilwoman DeLucy.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else this evening?
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Okay, we are adjourned.
Always interesting.